The Warning Dream. The following is a dream I had recently. It startled me with its vivid imagery and haunting premise. I have recorded it here so others can consider its meaning. I think it was a warning to trust and listen to good counsel. Often we don't take on advice because we think we know better, and then find ourselves in trouble. We seldom, if ever, see the big picture in life, only usually in hindsight when it is already too late. Save yourself some heartache and don't be stubborn when you're in need of help and vulnerable. You'll see what I mean in what follows. Sarah is in a facility where she is encouraged to comply with the treatment policy, which primarily involves eating and drinking special food and sitting tests to determine if she is improving. The tests are personality tests. She comes to the treatment facility weak and fragile and is told that she is self-destructive in nature and needs to be fixed so that she can start loving herself and others. The treatment plan is aimed to correct her issues and create in her a will and behavior that is loving and kind. A few times in the past, she has gotten confused and tried to escape the facility, but was captured in time before she could do any harm to herself, the staff or other patients of the facility. Eventually, she is convinced by the staff that she must comply to the treatment plan and trust them. It is the only way she will get better and be able to leave and lead a happy, healthy, and productive life. They tell her that though it is hard to change, they believe in her progress and think she will be healed of her problems. She trusts them and begins to get stronger and healthier. She does well in the personality tests, and everything is looking good and promising, so that she is assigned a date for when she can go home. Then 7 days before she is assigned leave of the facility, she is asked by the staff of the facility to help a newly interned person who has just arrived and is very confused, angry, and non-compliant. She is told to reassure him as he is her younger brother. She visits the young man and doesn't know or recognize him as her brother. He is very good-looking, fierce, and frustrated. She tries to talk to him kindly, telling him she is his sister and wants to help him. As soon as he sees her, he calms down and listens to what she tells him. She says he can get better like her, so that eventually he can go home. She apologizes to him for not recognizing him as her own brother, admitting she must have been in the facility a long time in order to forget this important detail. She says he doesn't need to stay as long as her to get better if he trusts the staff and treatment policy. He seems to be taking what she is telling him on board, and then hugs her unexpectedly. But as he hugs her, he whispers that he needs to urgently speak to her in private, away from the staff who are constantly around and monitoring them. When she leaves him, she tries to think of a way to have a private moment with her brother, and can't shake the feeling that something is terribly wrong, that she has forgotten, and that her brother can remind her of. Now that she has only 6 days left in the facility, she is granted more privileges, and one of them is to spend some time in the open courtyard unsupervised. She asks the staff of the facility if she can spend some time with her brother in the courtyard. They agree but warn her to be careful around him, so as not to jeopardize her recovery. When she sees her younger brother again in the courtyard, they hug, and he tells her she is very beautiful. She is surprised by this, as no one has said this to her that she can remember, and she is no longer vain or concerned with looks, like she apparently was in the past. Then her brother asks if they are alone or still being monitored. She says they are alone. He tells her that she has forgotten many things, and that he feels like it is important for her to remember the past. She asks him to tell her what she has forgotten. He tells her it will be a shock for her, but now she is keen to know and pleads with him to tell her. So he tells her. He says that they are not really truly brother and sister, but instead only connected in terms of them both being test tube babies. that they come from another planet where all people are conceived in test tubes, that some test tube babies don't turn out to be perfectly aligned to the morality and goodness of their home world, which is perfect, and are shipped to the planet where the facility exists to be treated, before they can return to their home planet. Her brother watches her as she is obviously shocked immensely by what he is telling her. He tells her that they are both destructive in nature and violent, which further shocks her because she has started to see herself as a good person. But how can this be? Her brother continues to disturb her by telling her that all the staff on this planet where the facility exists are actually mechanical machines, though they look like them on the outside. She finds his story very horrific and hard to believe, and yet she is tempted to consider that he could be right. He asks her to help them both escape. She tells him that she only has 6 days left before she can freely leave the facility. He says, "You've been brainwashed." This upsets her. She doesn't know what to do now. Then her brother says he knows how to pilot small spacecraft, which land near the facility. He says that there is another planet that they could reach, called Earth, that is full of humans who are not perfect, and that they could easily get to this planet if they hijacked a spacecraft. He says that on Earth they would fit in with everyone else there and be happy, and not need to be treated and transformed into perfectly obedient and loving people, like those in their home world. He says that others have escaped to Earth in the past and started new lives there. She says she needs to think about everything he has told her before she can decide what to do. They part. When she goes back into the facility, she is given food and drink as usual, but says she will take it in her room where she can be alone. The staff look at her questioningly but agree to her request. She doesn't eat or drink the food now as she is suspicious of what it contains. Maybe her brother is right and she has been manipulated by the staff to comply to the treatment that is actually a way to control her and brainwash her. She becomes more and more upset, especially by the idea that if she is a test tube baby from another planet, that they considered her bad because of lacking a loving and kind nature. She decides to help herself and her brother by escaping the facility. She meets up with her brother again, and he tells her that the staff have ray guns in their office, which are usually used as a last resort to subdue people who are particularly dangerous. The guns are set to tranquilize people, but they have another setting which can be used to kill. The kill mode is effective against the robot staff too, and would be their means of escape. She decides to see if her brother is right about there being ray guns in the offices of the robot staff. With 5 days left before she is released, she comes up with an excuse to enter one of the staff's offices. By offering to deliver a meal to them, she sees that they do not eat anything, and notices the ray guns, which are in a locked cupboard, when her brother causes a commotion that they planned together to create a distraction for the staff. The staff grab their ray guns and tell her to stay in the office where she will be safe, while they de-escalate the situation. But as soon as all the robot staff leave the office, she grabs a ray gun too and runs after them. They are busy trying to stop the chaos which Sarah's brother has started. They are about to use the ray gun on him, so Sarah fires at one of the guards. The guard is damaged, and all the people in that particular room see that the guard is a machine. This creates more chaos, as all the people in the room now turn on their machine captors. Sarah grabs a second gun that is lying by the damaged machine guard that she shot and throws it to her brother. He begins to shoot more of the staff in the facility with the gun.
The machine staff are damaged, and many people burst their way out of the facility, now determined to escape the planet and head to Earth via a captured spacecraft.
Sarah and her brother and the rest of the people who have escaped the facility head to the launch pad where the spacecrafts land and take off. But they have to fight more machine guards to reach the spacecrafts. Some people are injured in the crossfire, but Sarah and her brother are not shot. They manage to get into one of the spacecrafts, and Sarah's brother pilots it, along with a group of other escapees. They take off, but before they can escape the atmosphere, they are targeted by a missile, and the spacecraft is damaged and begins to fall back to the ground. They all eject safely before it crashes and find themselves in the wilderness. They are quite a distance now from the facility where they had been, and must now fend for themselves. They spend some time setting up a camp, using what provisions they have from the spacecraft, and hunt and gather food for themselves. At first, they think the machine staff from the facility will come after them to bring them back to the facility. But they don't. After about 2 weeks of living in the wilderness, they begin to physically deteriorate. Sarah's skin becomes wrinkly and full of warts. She grows haggard in appearance, and the same happens to the others, including her brother. She asks her brother why this is happening to them. He tells her that the planet they are on is radioactive and hazardous to their health. The food and water they regularly received while in the facility apparently not only worked to curb their violent and destructive instincts, but also protected them from the harshness of the planet's climate. Sarah then realizes what a huge mistake she made in leaving the facility by force. She knows that she would have had a ticket back to her beautiful homeworld had she just finished her treatment and training at the facility. She spends the rest of her days thinking about this huge lapse of judgment on her part and regretting her decisions. But it is too late now for more chances to fix things. Every now and then she sees spacecraft flying back to her homeworld, with people in it who successfully complied and completed their treatments. And she wishes she was one of them too. Eventually she dies, as do the rest of the people with her, including her brother. The end!
Just leave me out. I think we have gone too far. And I don't mind if we fall apart. 'Cause all the lights that shine on us tell me something more. We can't win this war. Yeah, all the lights that shine on us haven't felt this before. Oh, what are we fighting for? I can't do this no more. Heading towards the door. Yeah, what are we fighting for? I can't do this no more. I think that we both know we're broken to the core. 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 It's for the best. We know we can't stay like this. We failed the test. It wasn't meant to be. Oh, 'cause all the